in this session I'll be starting a bull's head, which can be used to make a Highland cow. The anatomy underneath all the hair of a Highland cow is the same as a bull. So I started off with some sketches you can see behind, just to really make me think about the shapes that are in the bull's head, where the prominent areas are, where the connecting lines are, where the features are placed in relation to each other. So always start with some either good reference photographs or some sketches. So I've taken this block of clay, which is, what do we see, where's my ruler? So the clay is roughly 10 centimeters that way and roughly 10 centimeters there, so it's roughly a square, but it would be less than that. It's nearly 6 thick. This clay sculpture will end up about the size of a large fist, maybe slightly larger, but around the size of a large fist. So the first thing I decide to do is I'm going to sort of work out roughly where the center of the clay is, and then I'm going to bring down, instead of the angle being straight across here, I want to bring this down at an angle. I'll draw that on. So I'm going to let this be the highest area of the crown, and then I want to bring this down to the nose. Now you could simply cut that off, but I'm gonna hammer that down slightly so I get a wee bit more length, and that'll give me the angle of the nose. So we'll start that just, and this compacts the clay as well. Oh, see my lamp just decided to fall over. So in this video I will I probably have to break it down into 2 halves to cover what we covered on Monday night in the class. So I'm just getting that angle down there. I'll just move this in a bit. So now that I have this angle, and now I want to bring that in, I might just cut off to do that. So I'll find roughly the center line, and then I want to, so this distance here I want to look for about halfway, make that halfway, and that is all going to be the forehead. So the features of the eye are going to be below that. So I'm going to bring that in a bit like that. So I can just cut that off, but I don't want to cut it off. I don't want to cut it off straight down. I want to angle it out so that I'm cutting at an angle. So then, using a tool like this that has a slight scoop to it, I'm going to think about creating the muzzle. So the nose itself muzzle part of the nostrils and the very end of the nose, it's quite a square form in that it's as wide as it is high, as it is deep. So I'll just take that wee corner off there and that wee corner off there. Just take it off. I'm just bringing that up to be more symmetrical. So because I've got this measurement, I know that measurement is going to be the same as that measurement. So I can take that wee bit there off. Then I know this measurement is the same as this measurement, but it's also the same as this measurement. So at the widest point, that's where the round end of that nostril is. So I'm going to take a tool like this and just trim off a wee bit in there. And that measurement is going to be the same as this measurement. So again, using the scoopy end of this tool. And then using this tool, I'll just take a wee bit of that off. So now I'm just, using the scoop of this tool, and every time I scoop around to try to clean it off. So now I'm going to use that tool to help me get that nice round. So at this stage, I'm just doing this quite roughly, just so that I have that feeling of the roundness at the end of the nose. Okay, so next I'm going to move up towards the eyes. So the eyes are going to be underneath this halfway line, and the eyes are going to be on the side of the head. At this scale, what we're using is just like if you can think of bringing your eye round the corner a finger width, and the important bit is round the corner. So if you think of this being a flat plane and the sides being a flat plane, you want your eyes to be on this plane, definitely not on this front plane. They're on the side plane. and we're going to put a finger width between the bridge of the nose and the eye. And we're just going to create a wee bit of a socket. It's too big. Then I'll just make sure they're kind of more level. I can put my 2 fingers in and level them up. Good. So now I have the eyes in, they're really roughly, but that's fine. One thing about the bulls is they've really prominent eyebrows, and then it almost like swirls in a wee bit here below the eye towards the bridge of the nose. So I'm going to do that from the eye, stroke round towards the bridge of the nose. I'm just going to give that a wee press up. This is all going to be part of the eyebrows. And then I'm going to create a wee narrower part of the nose from this V, just going down. And then I'm going to think about going from this, the muzzle area at the end of the nose, stroking the clay out on a diagonal plane to below the eye. And I'll just whip around this a little. This is still looking quite square to me, so I'm just going to pull it down slightly to make it more round. So to get away from being very square there, I want that to be a wee bit more rounded. But I don't want to lose the groove. I don't want to lose that groove behind the muzzle area of the nose. So this is a diagonal plane. I'll just clean a wee bit away there. So I'm just modifying the clay a little at a time, gradually changing it into the shape I want. So I'm still not happy. When I look at my drawing up above, I can see that I don't like this angle, so I'm going to add a wee bit more on so that it's more like, can you see my drawings of the bull up above? So I'm going to add a little on there. But before I add a little on, I'm going to just what I call clean the area so there's no wee rough bits, so it's a nice, there's no wee air pockets that could be hidden. So I'm just cutting a wee bit of clay to add on. Let's try this for size. And a wee bit of cross hatch and slip. Already I like that far better. It's just extended the nose slightly and it's got a better angle now. You know, it's closer to my drawing. So I'll just smooth that in. Good. Right. Now I'll do a wee bit more on the eyes. So the thing that, when I say eyes, the eyebrows, I'll work a wee bit more on the eyebrows first. So if I look at the width of that nose, I want, well actually I don't have to push it out much. I want the eyebrows to be twice the width of that nose. So I'm using because I'm using a solid bit of clay, I can cut into it. Now I'll cut into it a good thumb down. I'm actually just going to cut into it underneath as well. But I'll not come as far forward as that. Just smooth that in one line there. And then I'll just wiggle to open that up. This is quite a good wee tool for getting it open. But by opening it up, you can push out the clay. And it means you're not adding on clay. You can push it out into the shape you want. So I know that I've just really roughly opened that up for now. Now I need to plan where I'm going to push the clay out. So I know if I go like halfway there, and the eyes there, so I want to push this area out. This is actually going to come in slightly towards the horns, but this area needs to come out. So that now I've marked it, I can hold it with my fingers and I'm pushing out, you know, into that gap. These fingers on the outside are like a guard, so they have to go along those lines. So I'll push out into that one. So do you see, it's only come out a little at a time. Don't try to, if you try to do it too quickly, you'll push your finger right through it. So just a little, like a wee coaxing. And then I'll do the same on the other side. Again, I'll mark, you know, if this is the eyebrow. I just want this area sort of pushed out. Just take a wee bit off here. So now I just do, now you could with a tape measure measure it very, very accurately, but sometimes with a tape measure, so sometimes with the tape measure will go round and you don't really know where you're stopping and starting. Whereas if you use a stick, you can do it by eye, just where the clay disappears around the corner, like there and there. Then I'll measure it from there to there, that's good. And there to there, so it needs to come out more this side. So. And I have that wee sort of halfway line there marked in, that comes down the nose. Oh, it's nearly close. So I'm just stroking in that wee angle there. So now what I want to think about is I'm going to add the crown on, but I want to think about this being, hold it down. I want to create this kind of shape, so we want it to taper in here. And then if you think of the eyes, I'm just sort of putting in like a smile from where the eye socket's going to be. I'll just clean this wee tool off a minute. I'm just using this kidney just because that's very rough looking and I just want to smooth that over. So sometimes you might hear me talk about a quality line. So if there's a bit of a quality line here from the side of the forehead, above the eyes, down the nose, and there. So you want to kind of keep that lovely S bend in. So where that's important is particularly there. So you want to have a lovely curve here, and then you want to have a lovely curve there. So I'm just going to sketch that in. And I can work at that, get that symmetrical. So by getting that line in, it will help me. And then I've got further symmetrical. That's coming back. Okay, so now by putting that swoop in, we've kind of lost the eyes a wee bit, so that's okay. Sometimes the easiest way to do two eyes that are the same size is to use a tool. So let me see if I can get a wee tool that would do the job. End of a pencil would do the same, but remember how I said the eye has to be on this side plane, not the front. We're going to come in about a thumb. So the thumb will go there. I'm going to come in about a thumb. Go there. Then look at the two and see if they're even. What you can do is measure up with a tape measure or ruler from the ground in a straight line up, and just so this is a wee bit more. And then you could measure from your center line out. I'll do roughly enough for now. So that's the forehead. Then we'll work a wee bit with the eyes here then. So I want to connect the flat plane of the nose with the flat plane of the cheek with their diagonal plane. So the diagonal plane is under that eye. So I'll just really work on that and check on that. I'm not doing too much modeling, I'm just making sure that's a diagonal line. While I'm doing that, I can put in that jawline. So I can see this area here needs pushed out, so we'll do it in the same way as it by just putting my finger inside. The thumb guards here where you're the other side of your line, and then the thumb on the inside is just pushing this out. So you might see it more clearly on the other side. So that's that cheek coming out a bit more. I'll go with my kidney and just smooth that off a wee bit. And then just take the neck in. So I'm just pushing the neck back in again to leave the jawbone proud. So this needs to come out a good bit as well, so I'll just put that out. And I can use my fingers to feel, are these, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to feel, are these two fingers lining up, or do they feel like they're out? So I'll line the two fingers up. Sorry, excuse me. Okay. So then I'll put that wee line in there. And push that back. I want to push this out. I want to push this cheek out because there's not enough of it. The diagonal plane joins the nose there to just below the eye. So this is the diagonal bit, and this is flat. Think flat, flat, and then we diagonal here in between. Just push that out a wee bit. This wee area here needs pushed out a bit. I don't know. So I want to very much get the feeling that these eyebrows overhang. So can you see that there? So you can see that this sticks out more, and then the cheeks come in flat underneath it. Yep. And I'm just going to press that in slightly. So where the tear duct is, I'll just press in slightly. And also, we'll work on that when we do the... So I'll just stroke that down. So I'm just looking for symmetry there. So I'll stop this first video there, but that's it, just very much blocked in. Very, very basic blocking in. Just check. Okay, so that's the first stage, is just blocking in the start of the bull's head.